Hi everyone, I wanted to make a video because it's now been 1 year since I did my music recordings in Vietnam, and I'm happy and excited to say that this week I posted the final recording that we made out in Vietnam. You can watch it now over on our channel, Recording Earth. If you don't know what Recording Earth is yet, it's a channel where me and Ollie create music recordings about traditional music. We go and record musicians ourselves, often finding people in remote villages who play instruments and record music with them. Last year, I was super excited to be able to go on a 2-week trip where we went to loads of different regions in North Vietnam, and we recorded actually not with just Vietnamese people, but with different ethnic minorities that live in the north. And now you can watch the final video, which is online. It's about the Vietnamese folk music called Sam. And there will be more information about that video coming up. This is a real personal project for me, and I always find it incredibly exciting to do and rewarding. Even though the recordings we make, they often take a long time for us to produce and put out. I have to say a year is pretty good going to get all these videos out, and I'm really pleased that we've been able to release them all now. To celebrate the fact that all the videos are now online, I'm going to give you a little bit of an extra behind the scenes look. I'm going to look at all the videos that I've made in Vietnam, and I'm going to tell you a little secret that only I know about each video. So let's see what I can remember from these different recordings and different music. Let's put a picture up on here. All right, some pictures behind me now. Great. Okay. Early on in our trip, we visited a Hmong village, and that's where we encountered this instrument for the first time. I hadn't found one before. Ollie showed me a picture of it, and I was like, I've never seen that before. Locally, he called it a ken, although it's also known as the keech, and it's basically bamboo flutes stuck into like a kind of orb void. And it looks like it should be like a flute, but it's actually got more in common with a mouth organ, which is like a harmonica. And basically he blows down one stave, and then he gets to choose which note it comes out of. It's got such a unique like drone sound. I wouldn't say there's like any songs per se that you can perform with it, but it was incredibly important for their sort of ceremonial things that they do for the Hmong. So they used it in funerals, weddings, that kind of thing. The man who's playing the keej, he's called Thao Achua, and we asked him to move from inside his cabin to outside, to play outside, because normally the keej is played outside and it sort of interacts with nature, and he was happy with that. And without prompting or anything like that, he started to do the kind of march around in a circle that you do while playing the keej, and you'll see him brush it up against bushes and other trees and things like that. Ollie challenged me to film this in one take. He wanted one continuous take where I followed him outside. The video only has one cut, and I'll show you a bit of behind the scenes. What I did, we put up a separate camera when he was walking out the door, and then I ran around the corner with the camera, took off a filter on the front of my camera so the light was the right level, and then continued the shot. And so the secret that you can't see that's happening is that I'm running around the other side of the cabin to film him. I'll show you a bit of that. This next video is like a set of videos I did when I recorded songs with the Tay people. The Tay people are an ethnic minority. They live in Vietnam and other parts of East Asia. I stayed in their village for about 2 or 3 days, and They have a lovely setup where you can come and stay in a homestay, and they've got a stage where they do kind of cultural performances and things like that. So it's very much open to tourists, but it's also their village where they live in a traditional way still, farming, using the well that is important, sacred cleansing water, that kind of thing. And I was so welcomed and really excited to record some music from the Tay people. In the end, I was able to attend a special ceremony, which was a little bit like a christening for the Tay. They had a new baby who'd it reached 1 year as old, and so the mother of the village said a few words as part of the ceremony, and there was lots of other music, and then afterwards there was a meal which I stayed for, and the meal was delicious. There's basically, in any kind of like meal situation in Vietnam, it's common for there to be shared dishes everyone takes from, and so you can pick and choose what you like the look of. The other thing is that I was offered quite a lot of beer as part of this feast, and the father of the baby, he wanted to drink with me. A lot of the other Tay men wanted to drink with me as just a way of saying, hello, welcome. And it just meant that basically I ended up drinking quite a lot of beer at about midday and had to sleep it off in the afternoon in the heat of Vietnam sun. Next up, there's a couple of recordings we did with the Red Dao. The Red Dao, or the Mien people, are in North Vietnam as well. And the women wear beautiful red headgear, and they've got fantastic textiles, that kind of thing. This was up in the mountainous region, quite close to the border of China. We met a group of women, and they were all really friendly. A lot of the time, if they're not working in the field, they're working on embroidering clothes. They make trousers and things like that that can take up to a year to embroider. It's just part of their culture. They're amazingly detailed pieces. So what we did was we asked this one woman if she would sing. What I will always remember is that we were doing this recording in some person's house, and just as we started recording the session, these 3 pigs just trot in one after the other, and you'll see in the film we kept it in. They make their way into the back, and they're trying to eat basically the leftovers on some like dirty dishes or washing up that needs to be done. These pigs are insatiable basically, and the part that I cut out of the video was our guide that was helping us run straight through the shot to try and chase these pigs out, completely wrecking the flow. So I left in the pigs, but I took out that part where it sort of disjointed the whole song, and what we have left is this very cute and hilarious moment where 3 pigs trot into view to try and get into the back. It's really great. One other film that we did with the Hmong people was a young boy with a flute. He was actually the son of the man who played the keej, and he made these bamboo flutes, and also he treated us to a special thing where they play blades of grass, just like you would when you're a kid and you blow through the grass. But he was able to get quite a good tune out of it. I put it on the end of the video. Some people find it really funny. I find it funny. It's unusual, and I think that's the great thing about this kind of traditional music, is it can surprise you and you don't know why. The thing about this recording is that we went on top of a hill, and it was quite rainy that day, on and off, and we'd got a break in the weather, and we went onto the top of this hill to record. Set up 3 or 4 cameras, I'm not sure, we had quite a lot of cameras in our bag, and then partway through this performance it just starts chucking it down, and he's playing along. It looks really dramatic because he's getting soaking, we're getting soaking, and I just look across to Ollie and I'm like, yeah, all our gear is going to get wet, but hey, this is what it's about. Everything got drenched. Luckily everything survived and it still worked, and we got some amazing location footage out of it as well. The final couple of videos that I completed last week are around the Vietnamese music of Sam, which is very old. It's a very old folk music. The word Sam means dark because this type of folk music was traditionally sung by blind people, although there could be other members of the band that were partially sighted or fully sighted that would guide them, and they would sit in marketplaces and temples and basically perform and retell these stories as a way of as a form of earning income. So they would get paid money by passers-by who stopped and listened to the songs. Like all this music, this one's pretty special in the way that it's not very well known, and there's only a few masters of Sam left, and it's certainly not performed in the kind of traditional way that it was, earning money in the marketplace. I don't think anyone could survive doing that job anymore. The Sam video was pretty special for me because I lived in Hanoi at the time, and I actually went along for a few weeks to these Sam lessons where a dedicated group of people up in above a room in a cafe would come every week to learn these old songs. And it surprised me so much because the group of people that came were relatively young and, like 20s, 30s. You normally don't see kids basically or young people involved in traditional old music. It was different in Vietnam, especially out in where we were filming with the minority groups, because they had their villages where they would play and listen to the music all the time. Certainly in Hanoi I hadn't encountered this, but I was so amazed at the sort of excitement of these young people to come and learn this old music. And I asked them what did they do, and one was an accountant, that kind of thing. So they really had varied backgrounds. I went along for a couple of lessons. I did an appalling job of singing in Vietnamese. So first of all, I hardly know any Vietnamese, and second of all, it's extremely tonal. So even in singing, you've got to get the tones of the words right, otherwise it just sounds ridiculous. And they were very encouraging and humoured me, at least while I tried to sing a couple of phrases. But the songs are incredibly complex to sing. So not only am I grateful for that and being included in that, but also during my stay there, I got to film with Master Lin. And he is one of the 4 recognised masters of Sam. So the government recognises people who are exceptionally knowledgeable or talented at Sam. He's one of 4 left, and we got to record a session with him. We did an interview in a cafe, and then we said, oh, could we go play in a temple? He said, yeah, that's great. That's where we used to, it's originally performed. So we went out to this temple and set up a pretty little shot underneath a tree in this pagoda. And then halfway through one of the songs, which can be like 5 or 6 minutes long, like they're really long stories, this woman comes out and just starts talking aggravatedly in Vietnamese. And eventually it transpires she's going, you can't sing Sam anymore here. I don't know if she understood what Sam was anymore, but and Master Lin was going, of course we can sing Sam here. That's how it's always been done. But she wasn't having none of it. She didn't like the fact that we'd stolen the collection plate to put as a prop in front of Master Lin. Master Lin argued that that's how Sam has always been performed traditionally, and he couldn't understand it at all. And it was just surprising to see that it's not a recognised art form like in that way anymore.
What seems to have happened, Ollie?
Someone who seems to work here, some staff or volunteer of the pagoda of the temple, has come out and stopped the recording, taken away the tray of the money, which was just used as a prop, and has kicked up a fuss and told us we had to leave. It's a bit of a shame we couldn't finish the recording. I felt like we were almost there,
Yeah.
And so we had to leave the temple. Halfway through, we were kicked out of the temple, and we had to go to another temple. No hard feelings. It was all good fun. So those are some of the extra little stories I can think of behind some of these recordings. Of course, you can go and watch the videos in their final form, and I've always written a description of each artist, of each type of music underneath the video, so read them as well if you want a little bit more information. As always with this kind of music location recording and these different types of music, you you're not going to love it all. Even when listening to and recording some musicians, I think, yeah, this is some hard things to listen to. You know, you're not going to put it on your daily playlist or anything like that. But I just think it's really cool to find this kind of music and that it exists in the world. The people that perform this music, they perform it for their own purposes, and it's not for your entertainment. So I feel incredibly humble to be able to go and talk to and find and record with these people, and also how welcoming and sharing they are about their music that they play. And so I've been really happy to be able to do that in Vietnam. Thanks for watching this video, and if you haven't done already, head over to Recording Earth and subscribe to the channel. That would be a really helpful thing to do. I mean, we don't do it for the massive amount of plays or likes. Ollie and I are going to continue recording and making videos about traditional music regardless. But even so, I'd love for you to subscribe and yeah, keep up to date with what we're doing. All right, thanks for watching. Catch you around.